Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roll20Con. We're so excited to have you. I'm so excited to be here with my fellow Thirsty Sword lesbians. That's what we're playing today. We're specifically playing Neon City 2099, which I happen to write for Thirsty Sword lesbians. I'm super proud of that. It is our cyberpunk setting. Thirsty Sword Lesbians itself is one of the best games that has ever been created. So basically, it is a game by April Kit Walsh, who's here with us today too. It's a role-playing game that celebrates the love, power, and existence of queer people, specifically queer people with swords and a lot of feelings. So we have flirting, sword fighting, and barb zingers all mixed together in a system designed for both narrative drama and player safety. So this is a really innovative take on the Powered by the Apocalypse engine. It's a breeze to learn and ensures that no matter how the dice fall, something interesting happens to move the story forward. So if this is your first time hearing about Thirsty Sword Lesbians, this is a great game in order to get to know the system with a very strong cyberpunk twist. But let's get into Roll20Con. What is it about? So we have 3 days of charity. Specifically, we are raising money for Code 2040. This is a way to get more Black and Latinx voices into the tech industry. And it's a way for them to participate and lead because we believe in diversity. We believe in having a complete party at Roll20 and in all TTRPGs. In this case, I think you'll be really interested in the complete party we have with our lesbians here too. So, but yeah, definitely donate. It's for a great cause. And yeah, we'll also do introductions. I'll start with myself. My name is Jamie. I use they, them pronouns. I am an indie creator of games. You can find my stuff at temporalhiccup.itch.io. I'll talk about that more later, but that's enough of me. And then I'll hand it over to April. So, April, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Hey, welcome to Roll20Con, everybody. I'm April Walsh. I'm the designer of Thirsty Sword Lesbians, and I'm really excited to be playing in Neon City 2099, which is Jamie's setting for the game that's in the core book. We're on Kickstarter right now, and we are 600% funded-ish. We just unlocked a new Sailor Moon-inspired magical queer playbook that Pamu is writing, and you can check that out at sword.gay. I am, we've also, when I'm not writing gay RPGs, I work at a nonprofit, and we've hosted not Roll2040, Code 2040 events. And it's a great organization with a really important mission. So donate. We're here streaming for charity. Evil Hat is the publisher of Thirsty Sword Lesbians, Evil Hat Productions, and they're known for things like Fate, Monster of the Week, and Forged in the Dark games. And they will be running a couple of sessions later on to help teach you how to use the amazing, neat Roll20 specific tools and character sheets that we are using right now to facilitate this online game. So check those out later on during the con. And for any information about the con as a whole, the URL is roll20con.net. I think Sean is going to throw that in the chat as well. So Thirsty Sword Lesbians, like Jamie said, it's a game that celebrates queer love and found family in any setting where swords cross and hearts race. Today's setting is cyberpunk with neon light cycles and queers versus creepy corporations that sometimes employ sexy people, and it's very frustrating for everyone involved. So stay tuned. We're also going to be teaching some of the basics of the game as well as we go. No, wait.
Yeah.
Anna, over to you.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name's Anna Valens. I'm a reporter with the Daily Dot. I actually covered Thirsty Sword Lesbians last week, and I was smitten by the game. And I was like, this is awesome. Most people know me as like a horny demon dyke instead of a thirsty sword lesbian. But I was like, I'm down with this. And so April and the Evil Hat crew generously invited me to play today. And I'm a bit of like, I'm like the I'm going to be like the stand-in for the new player. I've played some tabletop, I've dungeons some dragons in the past, but but I have not played a tabletop game in a hot minute, let alone done an indie one that's incredibly queer inclusive. So I'm really excited. I have a really cool character that's going to become one of my OCs now because I'm in love with her. She's definitely not my alter ego. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get some Thirsty Sword lesbians involved in this stream.
Yeah, and then Alexis.
And it's me. I'm Alexis Sarah. I am a comics book writer, tabletop game designer. I do podcasts, streams. I do basically anything that I can make more queer content. If I can make it gay, then I will do it. As long as I will get paid, or I don't get paid. I've lost a lot of money making things. Don't worry. I'm here. I'm queer. I'm Thirsty Sword lesbian. So yeah, you can check out all my stuff at my Twitter at transcomics. I'm sure it's like down there. So I do lots of cool shit. Check me out.
Alexis is one of the best creators of our time.
Thank you.
So yeah. But yeah, okay, so let's get into thirsting. Let's get into the game. That's what I meant to say. Of course. So we'll start with, I'll talk about the setting a little bit, and then we'll introduce our characters. And we actually left the most exciting part of character creation for here on the stream. But first, let me talk about what we have as a setting. So we are in Neon City 2099 in a world that never sees the sun. Neon lights cut through the hearts and souls of our revolutionaries. In pouring rain, their light cycles race through narrow alleys as they hold on to fragile hope. Can they honor their fallen comrades and tear down the megacorp? Will it be enough to free the city from its greed and corruption? When avatars are activated and systems of powers are hacked, neon swords come to life. So basically, Neon City is a megalopolis with buildings that stretch hundreds of stories up. Most of the city has been carved up by the megacorp, with executives owning entire neighborhoods. On the edge of the city and hidden away in abandoned subterranean levels, there are diverse communities and people who thrive on what they've scavenged from the megacorp. So this particular adventure is part of Runaway Revolution. So our PCs, our main characters, are one of many cells of the revolution, tasked to plant the seeds of dissent, desire, and revolution. There are many ways to win a revolution, but only if we bring all of Neon City together. And for this particular adventure, Cora Flynn and her dancing devils are the rising new stars of Neon City's most dangerous street races. They were once colony warriors, but they outran the megacorp and claimed the streets for their own. Can the PCs convince them to fight back and recruit other light racers to the cause? Can they impress them with their most heated sword fights that take place on a light cycle? So that's our setting. I'd love for us to get into our characters. We can go in the same order we did with introductions, I think. So when you introduce your character, you have to tell us the very important information of what they look like, what their light cycle looks like, what their sword looks like. And of course, we'd love to have their pronouns, and we'll talk really briefly about the moves you picked for the character. So don't worry, you don't have to remember all of that. I'm here to remind you. So let's start with Catalyst, who is playing our Nature Witch.
Yes. So Catalyst is a nature witch, and the nature witch playbook is very connected with the environment. And there's a variant for the nature witch, which is also or alternatively connected with technology. So Catalyst is, in fact, also a techno witch. And she was very happily tending a community garden, trying to keep people fed, getting toxins out of the soil, when the mech dozers came and tore down half the neighborhood, dumped a bunch of junk right on top of the unused plot of land where they were growing food. And after years of sort of admiring the light cycle riders from afar, she decided to try to join them. So using her connection to the plants and to the technology, she has created a jaguar light cycle, as in a cat. Her name is Kawasaki, and she is a fusion of plant and discarded light cycle parts and other junk, and has a little like plant cat form that can sort of like pop out of the light cycle and hang out on the shoulder, and then it jumps into the light cycle, powers it up, and then we're ready to race along. So Catalyst very much has the like wide-eyed, new to this form of resistance, not necessarily tied into the realities of what it involves, but very game, very enthusiastic, very curious, very smitten with the leader of the light cycle gang. And her moves let her talk to animals and plants and technology, and awaken them with her magic. And Kawasaki is also her familiar. So I've taken the familiar move for her. She's like short of stature, sort of like messy butch hair, but wears a sort of like a long jacket of neon floral themed design, and her sword is made from junk, and it is an arcing lightning sword that she has never used before, but is completely ready to, she thinks. That's Catalyst.
Awesome. Very cool. And yeah, so Anna, tell us about Medics.
Medix, my girl. So Medix is a very interesting character. She is part of the infamous playbook, which, as the name suggests, she is infamous. She had a slightly villainous past. Her core, one core part of her character bio, though, is that she had a forgivable villainous past, but still villainous. We can't erase that from her, nor would we want to, because that's what makes her cool, is that she's like good now. And so I'll read exactly the bio that I left in our copy of Roll20, which is she's a hardened former mega corporation leader who was once lovers with her boss in the megacorp, who was an executive. She was like kind of a mercenary, and would cross paths with people like Cora Flynn. So she has some history there. And slowly but surely, the horrors of the cyberpunk world that she participated in drained her, as did her role in it. And finally, her lover commanded her to do an order that she could not do, which was kill civilians who were threatening the mega corporation's control over the whole entire marketplace. Very innocent people, not unlike Catalyst. And she was just like, nah, this is fucked up. I cannot do this. And so that led to her, unfortunately, having to kill her boss and her lover, and take her prize sword with her, and she officially defected to the anti-megacorp cause. So obviously that's not really an easy thing to do. It definitely left her pretty traumatized, both her role in things, but also the fact, like she was paid to like kill her way through the cyberpunk dystopian. The only way out was through killing more people. So that definitely haunts her. But what I love the most about her is not just her traumatic background, but also the fact that she's a very messy lesbian. She both literally, she has some body modifications that are really cool. Her arms can turn into these like part biological, part technological tentacles, which was highly inspired by the art for the infamous in the playbook. I love tentacles. They're really cool. They're very queer. But her hair, which is kind of like a sleek black, into a mullet on one side, and she has an undercut on the right side of her head. So she has this very like obviously lesbian look, but also hardened. It's kind of sleek. She's stylish. She wears like a puffed up like jacket that covers like her neck. It's like part body armor, it's part like cool slick leather jacket. She's definitely a bit of a lady killer, like, but also she's a relationship anarchist too. She's, you know, she loves polyamory, she loves sleeping around, she loves chain smoking, you know, she's very messy. I love her. And she can use her, my favorite part of it is she can use her tentacles along with her sword, which again was stolen by her former lover. She can change she can modify her limbs as well. So her limbs can pop out and turn into like these biological cyborgian tentacles. Her hair can also kind of switch out into this tentacle kind of vibe that looks like her mullet, but it's black tentacles. And they can also catch fire too if she wants to. That's like when she's really upset, is like like flames. And so she uses she they pronouns. I love her. She's extremely messy, and she's definitely looking to get some kisses, even though she can have a little bit of a hardened exterior at times, but that's her appeal. She's emotionally available in an emotionally unavailable way.
Perfect. All right. And then so I can't wait to get into those kisses. But last but not least, Alexis, tell us about Sapphire Riches.
Of course, I'll be embodying Sapphire Riches. And you don't need a lot of words to describe perfection, but I'll try my best. Well, of course, I look absolutely fabulous. You know, it's perfect. The latest modifications, the latest everything. I have an undercut, and it's a lesbian flag color. And of course, I can change it at any time because I have the best mods. I wouldn't grab any, you know, poor people mods that stick to one thing. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, my daddy's the CEO of the Megacorp. Yeah. So it's pretty fabulous being me, but I found out, naughty daddy, very bad boy. Found out that he had been secretly messing with my mind. So I'm not a big fan of that. So I started funding these writers to spite dad, because you mess with me and I mess with you back. Of course, my sword is the latest in sword technology, unhackable, powerful, modifiable, and of course, cute and a perfect accessory. It comes in, it's like my earring. It looks really amazing, and I just pull it out, and that's my sword. My light cycle, of course, also state of the art. It shows up as my golden plated outfits, and it shifts into my clothes and puts me in a more night cycle rider mode. Yeah. Gosh, is there anything else about me? No, I think I pretty much covered that.
What's your playbook?
Oh,
What's
yeah,
your
I'm playing the
playbook all
Seeker.
about?
Oh yeah, I'll talk all about that. Yeah, so I'm the Seeker. So that's all about like having this like tradition and authority that I was under. So in that case, the Megacorp, and I was raised to take over the Megacorp at some point. So I got all of that kind of drama going on where it's like I'm still not used to being in this cause and into this new world that I stepped into to fight daddy. So I have some commandments, you know, things that I learned that are like firmly rooted in me. That's one of the mechanics for the playbook. Never admit to my weak emotion. Never give what you can sell. Avoid the poor unless you're using them. Use your partners, don't love them. Always go low. Always show off your perfection. So, you know, I'm pretty awesome, I guess, what I'm saying.
Evidently.
And the Seeker is, to be clear, all about growing past those toxic commandments that you start with and finding your new values.
Yes, it is 100% about that.
But part of the fun is seeing how those toxic beliefs are going to play out.
Yeah, and so what I really love about Thirsty Sword Lesbians is it says specifically in the book, like if you want someone who's like fresh on their journey, trying to pull away from toxicity, that's what the Seeker is for, while the Infamous is like someone who's more along on that journey, who understands the gravity of what they've done in the past. Did I get that right, April?
Yeah, and the Nature Witch also has a theme of like new beginnings. So it's interesting that these are the three playbooks that we chose. for today. So yeah, the Nature Witch is sort of the baby gay, the character who remains very attuned to the environment, but interacting with other people either is new or feels very new because something about them has changed, and like transitioning or figuring out your queerness or something.
I
For
love
instance.
Right.
We have like baby gay, we have infamous gay, and we have like rich daddy gay.
But yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what we're going to do, we made most of these characters before today's session, but like I said, we left the best part for what's going on in the stream. So we're going to create our relationship. So I'm taking a look at the relationships worksheet that we have here. So we already took our time introducing our characters with their name, pronouns, look, a summary of their emotional conflict. We went over some of the core mechanics. And then from here, we have a set of questions. There are 3 questions per playbook. Don't worry, I'll ask you the question in case you're not looking at that page. And after we've answered the questions, each of us gives 0, 1, or 2 strings to each other PC, depending on how much emotional sway the other character holds with them. So strings are really important. Strings are a way to try to encourage someone to do something. You can offer a string, and if they agree to do it, they can get XP from it. You can use a string in order to change the outcome of a roll. You can add a +1 to the roll. Am I right, April? Like it's a +1. I remember there's
a roll
like
involving the person that the string involves.
Yeah, awesome.
So
awesome.
that's the mechanic for like helping or hindering each other. Like giving someone a string is an act of vulnerability. They can use it to like help you and encourage you. Like Jamie said, they can use it to mess with you or tempt you to do things. So we have total control over how much we think the other characters have influence with us or get us and would be able to affect us in those ways. So yeah. Relationship questions.
Awesome. So let's get into it. So let's go in reverse order. I'll ask the seeker. So we have 1 of 3 questions. I'll say the questions first, and then you can tell me which one you want to answer first. So your questions are: who reminds you of home? Ooh. Who is the most outrageous of your new companions? And who is your model for local customs? I feel like I should say poor customs, right? Because that's really what you don't understand.
It's so foreign to me.
What's it like to be poor?
I went backpacking once. No. Who reminds me of home? I think that's MedX, because MedX was like in the right enforcing structure. So I definitely think that like this is like a familiar face from before I was doing this stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it's her. She's the one who kills people for me. Thanks.
Anytime.
So, I think she's definitely the one who reminds me of home, and that's good and bad.
Awesome. How about for let's do one more question before you move on to another person. We'll save the third one for when we come back. What second question would you like to answer?
I think who is the most outrageous of my new companions? And I think that is Catalyst, because all this nature stuff and this like being so nice and innocent, like what? It's so weird.
I could see that. I don't think I have mods either, right?
Ooh,
Yeah,
interesting.
super weird.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm just a human.
So strange.
Very cool. Yeah, I kept saying like the third question, like we had another player. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so we finished it. Yeah. But yeah, cool. So with that, how many strings do you want to assign per person? So you can choose 2, 1.
Let's answer all the questions so we have all the relationships because they're
Cool. Yeah. So let's move on to to our infamous. So I'm looking at it here, but I can also type it into the chat if you like.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'll do that for you. So the first question is, whom have you wronged the most, and do they know it was you?
Oh, good
And
question.
yeah, and then the second question is, who believes in you more than you believe in yourself?
And that's specifically in relation to all the other characters that I'm role playing with, right?
Right. So another
Hell yeah.
PC.
So who
Oh,
have
and
I? Oh yeah.
let
No,
me
you
let
go.
me ask a third question, just so that you know which one you're most drawn to.
Yeah.
And who talks to you about things they wouldn't discuss with others because of your past?
Ooh. Okay, so I feel like a lot of these lean towards Catalyst. The person I've wronged the most, obviously, is Catalyst. Like Catalyst, I really, she's the kind of person, very specifically, that was the last straw. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. This person is so innocent. She doesn't even have any body mods. Like, come on, man. Like, she's so pure. This is so fucked up. So I've definitely wronged her and people like her the most. I'm not sure if Catalyst is fully aware though, in part because I have like this new beginning that I've already been on. And so I'm not quite sure. That's a little bit up to Catalyst saying, but they might have an idea, but because they're kind of still getting immersed in this seedy underground world, they might not know just how bad my past is. As for who believes in me more than you believe in yourself, that might be Catalyst again. I have a funny feeling that it's like Sapphire and I definitely are from the same world, and we definitely did cross paths. And like I'm like, oh yeah, Sapphire. Like I remember that one time that like I was at that one megacore party and she was there, and like damn, she is really rich. Holy shit. But she's got riches in her name. Like, come on. But I think see generational wealth. And so I definitely I know Sapphire knows I'm competent, but I think Catalyst probably is the one that believes in me a little bit more because Sapphire doesn't have the range quite yet to understand the journey that I've been on. So there's kind of this irony there. Who talks to me about things that they wouldn't? That's definitely Sapphire. Wouldn't discuss with others. Sapphire and I were on the same page. Like we know what this is like. Sapphire might not have seen all the dirty stuff that I have, both physically and literally, but or metaphorically. But Sapphire definitely gets like this is how the politics work in that world, and this is what you do. And there's a general disdain for like the unmodified, the pores. And like I definitely came from like that background of like not having much and then having everything and then like kind of leaving it behind, but like also like we're on the same wavelength. Like Sapphire riches, baby. Like everyone knows Sapphire riches.
Very cool. How do we feel about those relationships from Sapphire and Catalyst?
Yeah, I think Catalyst does not know that MedX was directly involved, right? Like, yes, you did terrible things in the past, but you're a different person now.
So pure.
And she also specifically does know the face of the mechdozer pilot that she saw that day. So that's the person that she is fixated on. She doesn't know anything else about them, but would recognize them if they were to show up in this one shot, hypothetically.
Hypothetically. But yeah. Okay, cool. And so let's go to our baby gay and their questions. So their first question is, who sees your potential? And the second one is, who thinks you're perfect the way you are? Such a different set of questions. And then who thought they took you on a date when you thought it was just a fun, friendly time? So which of the questions would you like to answer?
Well, I'm going to propose that MedX took me on a date. Or MedX thinks that she took me on a date, but I thought we were just, having a fun time going like riding and checking out the like pollution enhanced sunset and yeah, it was just completely oblivious to that. But also, what do you think of that, Anna?
I feel torn because I feel like MedX would definitely be like, holy shit, like I can't get involved with this girl. She's too pure. Like this is too much. But on the other hand, I could definitely see her kind of being like, all right, yeah, fuck it, let's go on a date. Like so I'm 50-50. I'm not quite sure. But I definitely feel like MedX has the like some sort of ethical system that's a little bonkers, and like she might be like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna go on a date. Like sure.
Well, let's rewind then and say we're earlier in that process. And I'm going to suggest that maybe MedX is the one who thinks that Catalyst is perfect the way she is
Yes.
and doesn't want to break what's happening there.
Yes. Yes.
And so maybe Sapphire sees Catalyst's potential. Do you think that's possible? Like buried deep beneath oil and dirt and poorness?
I think that you're neat, and that's one of the reasons I'm starting to actually genuinely care about the cause more than spite. You and MedX both give me like, well, maybe I could be a better person, like for different reasons, right? MedX having the determination to leave that position, and then like seeing the position from like the perspective of a person who is actually dealing with the day-to-day like shittiness of the corporation.
Yeah. And I have like mad respect for Sapphire for like also being like, hey, like I actually get this. Like we're on the same wavelength, not just that past, but also like we both think this is fucked up, even if like Sapphire also has the daddy stuff going on.
Yeah.
Daddy. We need a lesbian daddy to kind of counter this, although I guess I am the lesbian daddy in this. So.
You could be my lesbian daddy.
Oh. We stay on a she-they lesbian daddy. Come on, let's be real.
Amazing.
Good.
Yeah. And then so I think we're at a point where we can assign how many strings we'd like per person. So depending on the questions and how we answered them. So we can assign 2 or 1 string, I think. Yeah,
0, 1, or 2. And there's this neat thing that Evil Hat put together for Roll20 where we can keep track of our strings, and we have little portraits for our people. These are the illustrations that Kenesha Bryant did for the iconic characters in TSL. And Kenesha Bryant is amazing, and you should all go check her out and support her Patreon. She's done all of the art featured in the Kickstarter for the cover and the iconics. But so I'm going to give each of the others a string on me. So I'm going to drag these little icons up to the 1 line on my string tracker, if you all can see that.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, it's totally up to you, Alexis and Anna, how much you think you care about the opinions of the other character, or oh no, I just did this totally wrong. I gave myself a string on each of you, which is not what I meant to do.
Where's the string tracker, by the way?
It is under.
If you like up on page toolbar, it's like up on the top of the Roll20 page, and you touch
the
that.
little blue floaty tab.
Oh yes. Oh.
Yeah, then you can switch over to the strings page.
Oh wow. Oh my god, this is sick.
So,
holy shit.
Yeah,
right.
And I want to stress that all of this was created. We have a complete Roll20 Thirsty Sword Lesbian pack that you can have just by becoming a backer of the Kickstarter. It's already available.
Holy shit.
And there will be a super one with all the character art from the book that we are working on funding and getting commissioned. So right now we've got the iconics, and in the future there will be even more Thirsty Sword Lesbians for you to choose from in the art. So yeah, that's great. You've each got a string on Catalyst.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and then so how about for Sapphire? How many strings do you want to give for each of your fellow Thirsty Sword Lesbians?
I think I'm going to give 1 string to each 2, because I think that it's like she cares, but also she's like, her commandments kind of explicitly tell her not to care too much. So
fair.
And that's getting over during gameplay. So
awesome. Yeah, and how about for medics? Like, do you feel? It feels like you're pretty attached to Catalyst, but let me know what you think.
Right. So how many strings can I give to everyone to start?
2.
Okay. So I definitely feel there's. Oh, I'm torn. Can I give 2 to both of my fellow players?
Yes. Yeah. It's not like a cap on total strings. It's, for each person up to 2, but as many total as you want. Yeah.
So actually, I do think that both. Oh, wait a second. And for string, do I move it on next to my character?
Move it on the other character. So these are the strings that character has on you. So I'm going to slide the cute tentacle face up to 2.
Sure. And so, oh my god, I think I'll slide. Yeah. So April definitely. Catalyst has 2, and Sapphire. There's already a lot of strings here. Oh my gosh. But I feel like we would definitely know each other. So yeah, I think 2 and 2 each is perfect.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because it really matters to you, right? To make things right. With these people. So yeah, awesome. Okay, so that's it for our strings, and don't worry, the strings will move around a lot in the game, but we have an invisible presence that's helping us from behind the scenes. To move around the strings in case we need that, so don't worry about it. But it's very easy to do so on Roll20. It's pretty cool. It's a great way to keep track. Because the heart of Thirsty Sword Lesbians is relationships and strings. Among other things, but for me, I feel like that's a really important part of it. Okay, so with that, I think we're done with the last, we've tied a bow on character creation. Are we ready to jump in?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So because this is a one shot, I'll be hard framing a little bit, but we do have one of our safety tools is script change. So you can feel free to be like, pause, check in. Jamie, I know you said sex dungeon, but I want like sexier dungeon. Feel free to like interrupt me or change anything. Right. So, because with the hard framing, I'll be moving us along, but all of it is changeable, right? Nothing is set in stone. Okay. So as we start, the camera pans over Neon City, and we can see from a distance the rain is coming down hard, and because of all the pollution from the megacorp, the rain doesn't fall like normal rain. It comes down in neon shards, lighting up the entire city. Just hundreds and hundreds of stories. And as the camera pans up, it's like full on Inception drum, like sound effects as we go through Blade Runner kind of sounds. Like this really like dystopic kind of suffocating feel. There's this like multicolored fog that covers over everything coming up as the rain hits the streets and it steams upwards all the way. And as we shift the camera, we take a closer look at Neon City. So our dancing devils are out racing. It's a really big race. Everyone has been talking about this for weeks. And so the revolutionaries have tasked you to come here. You have to impress the dancing devils and convince them that the rebellion is worth fighting for. You know that the 3 of them used to be colony warriors. They were the fiercest. They fought for the megacorp in order to claim several galaxies, several colonies, and they ran away from that. They were deserters, and they're content to simply smash through the rest of the competition as they continue to win race after race after race. So you have to impress them by whatever means necessary. You're all very creative people. The rebellion has a lot of faith in you. And I think the question I want to ask is, does everybody know that you're part of the rebellion? Is this an open secret, or are you going to try to pretend that you're a legitimate race group? Let's ask. I feel like no matter what the rebellion decides, Sapphire is going to have her own decision. So Sapphire, what do you think?
I mean, I think that people don't know that I'm part of the rebellion, because I still have Dad's money.
Dad's credit card.
Yeah.
Are you in disguise or?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I could have a disguise. I probably have some kind of disguise.
Mm.
It's like a cool like golden visor. It's all very fancy. Definitely a rich person could only afford this. And maybe I stole it from a rich person. Who knows?
Dun dun dun.
And for you, this is slumming it, right? Like this is the best you can do to slum it down.
Yeah, it's like what I lowered it down to like a mini corp.
Yeah. I turned off my anti-rain force field and I'm getting raindrops on me.
It's disgusting, but I'm doing it.
I'm just like one of you.
I do feel the rain.
It does feel like tears in the rain.
How do you do, fellow pores?
I actually know someone like that. I'm having so much fun watching this. So.
This is so good, so cathartic. I feel like all my
cathartic.
Jeff Bezos anger is coming out through Sapphire.
But yeah, so Sapphire, like, so because you're in disguise and everything, are the whole group of you pretending to be your own like light cycle group? You're not openly part of the rebellion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I just have like a simple like writer name. It's like the Golden Riders, just that.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. That's very cool. Yeah. Okay. And so with that, we are at this part of Neon City. It's just on the edges, on the fringes of what is still an acceptable part of an megacorp area. This entire area is up for rehabilitation, which really means that the dozers are going to come in at some point and just destroy everything so that the corp can rebuild on top of that, something newer and better. And so this is extremely dangerous. Like part of the reason why everyone is so excited about the race is the dozers could show up at any moment. And the dozers are a group who come in with their mechs to just completely smash and take apart, take what salvage they can, and move on to the next area. So you can see from here, like through the rain, there are these huge holographic strips all over the place saying construction imminent, this is unsafe, do not go anywhere near this place. There are these helpful androids and drones that show up that keep announcing this information. And you can see on some of the light cycles, they're laughing and jeering and sniping down these drones like it's target practice before the real deal. And so we see the Dancing Devils haven't shown up yet, but some of the other lower tier racers are here. They of course don't look as cool as you, but there are quite a lot of them. There are a few dozen. And they're all revving up their engines, getting their light cycles ready. You can see a lot of them have put together these light cycles. They've scavenged and salvaged what they could. Some of them look pretty good. You know that they're probably stolen from the megacorp in order to look that good. And so I think I need a shot from each of our rebels, like what you look like on your cycle as the rain comes down, the steam rises up, right? So we had a bit of Sapphire. I'd like the complete picture. So you have the golden visor. You're actually getting wet, right? Yeah. Along with the rest of us pores. What else?
Yeah. So I think I have like kind of like golden plate like sticking out. Like it's like this very kind of like Sentai almost kind of outfit. Like I'm looking like the fancy Power Ranger that shows up for one episode and then vanishes.
Yes.
And I think that but it has like it's just the visor though, so that way you can see my fabulous hair getting wet and my perfect makeup that I have like on my lips. I have to really style it for there. And I have my like looking over at one of the other racers and like, get ready to eat my dust.
Your golden dust.
Golden. These plebeians, they don't know what they've gotten themselves into with my superior light cycle.
Perfect. I really like it. And so what do we see of our baby gay? What do we see of Catalyst?
Do MedX next for comedic pacing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have a thing.
Amazing. Sure, let's do MedX first.
So first I have to talk a little bit about my light cycle. It is an X it's an X Corp one. So normally I would set off some alarm bells, but luckily I've souped it up enough that like only a truly experienced eye would know. And so I've, there's like some exhaust that comes from it. It has a little bit of like a pre-cyberpunk vibe to it because MedX likes to mix new and old. And the really cool thing about it though is not just is it like all black with like red interior around the tires, but because MedX is a relationship anarchist, it's like has the signatures of all her lovers from the post Megacorp era. So it's like all in white across it. So it looks kind of like this white sheen to it as it passes. And some of the signatures are really big, obviously, because she's definitely dated a few people that really like to be flashy. And then some of them are smaller and she loves all of them. Anyway, so she's got this wicked cool like X Corp like light cycle. It's like the equivalent of a souped up like Amazon light cycle. And she like has a cigarette in her mouth and she's smoking. She's letting the rain just pour down on her. She's like on the one hand like totally in her element. Like she is serious. She's ready to go. Like this is what she lives for. She like kind of can feel the adrenaline pumping in her and she's like, I've felt this a million times before and it never stops feeling good. But she also is like she has like kind of like her sixth sense. I think sixth, seventh, maybe she has more senses because of the body mods. She's like very, very aware of the fact that like the caution tape, like the caution holograms are around, that the bots keep on getting like fucked around with. She's like this could get really fucking bad. And so she like keeps on checking like her cool cyberpunk watch because she has like a tactical watch because of course she does. She's a nerd. And she's like just smoking it, letting the rain fall on her with her slick leather jacket, super intense. And she's like letting the rain really just strip down on her and hit her because she knows that like if she like put on like some sort of sleek like anti-rain force field herself, she would totally give away the fact that she was ex-Megacorp, or she would get identified by like one of the potential Megacorp spies / robots that are spying on everyone. So she's just trying to like simultaneously lay low and like let herself pop out if we like totally fucking like destroy at this light cycle race. So she's trying to blend in a little bit but look cool and hot and sexy.
Awesome. I like it. And so we see our baby gay. What's up with her?
Well, we pan across the fancy golden Power Rangers villain. We pan across the super cool be-tentacled fancy light cycle character smoking in the rain. And then we like pan down to like this junker of a light cycle. So like it's rusty. It's got like roots in it for some reason. And it's all like not only old parts, but old mismatched parts that somehow have been made to go together. And as you pan up, you see that there's no one sitting on it, and the camera quick cuts over to where Catalyst is cradling one of these drones that's been shut down or shot down. Says, "Oh baby, no, you're gonna be okay," and is like tending to this injured drone, and is going to like take out the corporate control chip, but is definitely like, you know, taking care of this like injured creature, when she really should be getting ready to start this race.
And the drone is making like cooing sounds. Like,
Yeah. Oh, no, you'll be okay.
Yeah, it's beeping and booping.
She's sheltering it from the rain with her body so that it
Aw.
doesn't get like water in its circuits and everything. And she'll
And you
like,
can see that this poor drone, it's not the first time it's been shot down from the sky. So
fly, be free.
perfect.
my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like when you try to release the drone, like it shifts away for a moment and then it just comes back to be close to you. Like it's just hovering over there.
Okay. All right. You can come along if you can keep up, but you might get shot a little bit. So, so maybe watch from a safe distance.
And Medex is there like, it's going to get shot a lot, actually.
And then at that moment, that's when all the lights suddenly turn off and everyone knows what's coming next. And you can hear the dancing devils in the distance coming in, their light cycles screeching through the alleys as they come closer. And the first one that you see, of course, is Cora Flynn, the leader of the dancing devils. And you can see it's this bright magenta light cycle. It's bleeding light all across the floor. It comes in, there's the smell of ozone as she pulls in, and they come up. They're on their light cycle. There's a moment of like slow motion as they pull off the helmet and their hair shakes around and these curls fall across their face. But there's this one wicked scar down the side, but their eyes are this bright cyan that just completely light up. You can see the mons of the eyes just like cycling through, and you can tell that she's measuring everybody, and she stops for a moment at Catalyst.
I hand her a vegetable. I give her a carrot.
And she looks at it, and she looks at you, and everyone is like, Cora's gonna beat her up. Isn't she? But instead, Cora looks at you. You know what? I think I'm going to ask for an entice roll. How much is she going to like this carrot?
Sure. Now may also be a good time to mention that I'm smitten with Cora, which is a mechanic in this game. So at any time, you can declare that you are smitten with somebody. It's always your choice. So give Cora a string on me. The reason is because, I mean, I was already kind of interested, but now she looked at me. So I am smitten. And then I have to answer the question for my playbook that's going to make it. Yeah, I think the thing that I am overlooking is the fact that she actually has so many eyes on her that will judge her if she like does treat me with affection or kindness. So that is the thing that I am overlooking. That's the nature witch specific question. That's part of the smitten mechanic. So let me go to my sheet. You want me to roll an entice? Sure. I have some heart. I can entice her with my carrot.
Right, and from your character sheet, you can go to the basic move and then click on the die, and it'll roll it for you.
Ew.
And I can even, I'm going to toss the entice move text into the chat with this other handy button. So that's what this move does. And then I'm going to roll the dice. And I'm doing it with heart. What have I got? Let's.
Ooh.
Okay. That's bad. That's, I mean, fun. That's fun. So I have rolled a downbeat. I'm going to mark XP, and Jammy's going to tell me what happens.
Okay, I think I think what happens is as you try to entice them with your carrot, they look at it instead, and they say, "This is cute," they say in a voice, and it almost sounds like a cat the way that it's purring from the modifications. And they come a little closer and they say, "But, you know, now that you're here in the big leagues, we want a little more from our racers." I'm going to say, "How about I get it from you at the end of the race?" They say.
Yeah, the harvest was good this year. Yes.
And so they're going to gain a string on you. But as they say this, you notice one of the other bikes comes up and comes way too close to you, just screeches in the rain, covering you, drenching you from head to foot. And you realize they did it on purpose. Well, I don't know if Catalyst realized it, but everybody else knows that this racer definitely did it on purpose. They show up, and I'm gonna say definitely Sapphire. You recognize them because you've been paying for their way. But as they come off the bike, you recognize it's Obsidian Saturn, the right hand of Cora. So you feel that she is the weakest link because she lacks conviction, but she was also the deadliest warrior. And so as she gets down, she says, "No one goes up to Cora without my permission, little one."
That's
And
a little weird.
She pushes you against her shoulder. Do you do something?
I think it was just like the little saying that's a little weird, and gets pushed back, and says, well, puts hands on her hips, when we're in the winner's circle, I don't mind if Cora comes up to congratulate us, but why don't you just keep your distance because you are rude.
Sapphire is watching this whole thing and just oh my god, she's so hopeless.
Medic's standing there at first she was whoa, wait a minute. Catalyst, this is not good. Just kind of about to get involved, and I was just oh no, right, that's right. Catalyst is fine. She's just a dork. It's okay. Still chain smoking. Oh man, okay.
So there's a moment of tension in the air, but when Catalyst says that, Cora looks around and then lets out a laugh, and everybody else can tell that it's for Catalyst's sake. But everyone else, the entire crowd, bursts into laughter. But Saturn gives you a look, and she comes closer, and she whispers in your ear, "Catalyst, I'm watching you." Before she stalks back towards her light cycle.
And waggle the carrot defiantly at her back, and then turn around and take a bite out of it and return to the others.
Trying to look real cool and mean. Yeah. I don't bite them this all the time.
You're smoking, I've got the carrot, the Bugs Bunny with the cigar. Yeah.
Maddox is just okay. Okay.
Yeah, I showed her.
You certainly did.
And so, Catalyst, that Red Fang, who is your childhood best friend, and formerly Tabitha, that she's supposed to, that they're supposed to be part of the race, but they're not here yet.
And they're part of the
they're also part of the Dancing
Cora's
Devils.
Dancing Devils.
Yeah. And so, but the drones are already starting up. The holograms are coming up with the countdown. You can tell Cora looks a little worried. Obsidian leans over to say something, and Cora shakes her head, and then they get back to their light cycles.
I'm gonna text Red Fang, and I'm also gonna mention if the drone is still hanging out, I'd be I wonder where Red Fang is, and just in case the surveillance drone wants to do anything about that.
Of course, you saved them from being shot. Of course, they're going to help you.
I feel do you mind if I butt in really quickly for some Medic's insight? So
please,
I feel I feel at the same time, I've been keeping an eye out, trying to hang low, because I recognize Cora. We and I know I recognize her, right? It's not where she seems familiar. We've crossed paths in our sordid past a few times, and so I'm kind of debating whether I should talk to Sapphire about this, because I kind of don't want to spring all this deep stuff on Catalyst, but Sapphire would understand. I know shit about her, and I've seen them around, and I feel it would give us insights. I kind of want to talk a little bit about what I know. And I'm also freaking out that they're panicked. I'm should I be panicked? This is not good.
Awesome. Do you want to say that you worked with Cora in the past? She was a colony warrior. So do you want to use your Wicked Past move?
Yes. So my Wicked Past move, let me bring up my sheet really quickly. So yes, they get a string on me, and I ask a question from the Figure Out a Person list.
So if you look at your character sheet, if you scroll down past your playbook moves in the Roll20 sheet, it'll have all the basic moves, and figure out a person is one of those, and it lists the questions there.
Okay, so roll plus whip. And
so you don't have to roll. This is your Wicked Pass just says ask one of the questions from that move. So you can
For
bypass
free, yeah.
rolling. That's like one of the things that move does. You can just ask one of those questions.
Okay.
And that could be
So
like an out of character question or in character. You can just like
Yeah.
point blank say those words, or it can be like, what do I notice about them that answers this question, like narratively.
Ooh. Got you. Um, I think what do you hope to get from them? Because like I would be kind of thinking about my past and trying to figure out like a little bit better, like we fought together, we like literally were like comrades at times, like side by side in some hairy shit, getting shot at. And so I learned a little bit, right? Like I learned in that time being really close together that like Cora Flynn has a cool exterior. But like is human just like anyone else, even though we're all kind of cyborgs. So I think I would definitely be trying to figure out what are they trying to do here? What are they trying to get out of this race, and why are they so nervous? What are they hoping to be like? What are they hoping to keep safe? What's causing them to be nervous?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. And so as you're making your way to Sapphire, that's when you notice that that Cora has a completely new light cycle. You know that this is not something that they normally use. And so you can't help but think that she must have gotten caught up in something. And so this race, how dangerous it is. The Dancing Devils are known for taking risks, but this is a really dangerous racetrack. Someone must be controlling the Dancing Devils from the sidelines. And the fact that Red Fang isn't here, you have a feeling that Red Fang is collateral. Like they've been taken hostage, basically, is your suspicion. You recognize this tactic. But you also recognize how Cora is trying to shrug it off, just focus on the race. You don't know what's going to happen to Red Fang if Cora loses.
I feel like I would take all that insight immediately, and I wouldn't want to play my hand too deeply because I still feel uncomfortable talking about like the really traumatic shit I'd seen with Cora. Like we have been through some tough situations, but I like turn to Sapphire and say like, hey, like I think this is an average everyday race. Like that light cycle, that is not your average Cora Flynn light cycle, and like I'm kind of like I think like you brought your sword, right? Like thirsty sword lesbian. Like I feel like something really bad is gonna happen. I'm getting my sixth sense, and my hair is like kind of tingling too. Like when I get really stressed out, it catches fire. So I'm really starting to feel like this is not just your average race. We might want to warn Catalyst about this, but I don't know how to put it to her either.
Yeah, I mean, it's
she's smitten.
Yeah, well, I mean, their missing friend, right? Like that's the person he's missing. Yeah, so I suppose we should be concerned, but our goal is to recruit them. So I mean, this could be advantageous in that if we can help them, then maybe they'll see that the rebellion's the right way to go. So it's a win-win situation. We help Catalyst save her friend or whatever. I don't know where they are. And then in addition, we get them in the rebellion. So ipso facto, that's a win-win. That's what you love in business.
Do you want to try to get information about Red Fang? Maybe call upon a toxic power?
I feel like definitely.
Yeah,
because I really want to dig in. I feel like this is just like I'm definitely there with Sapphire. I feel like that is a good plan, but like something fucked up could happen soon. I'm really scared.
Yeah, and I wonder, Sapphire, I'm sure you have your connections. There are people you can try to talk to if you like.
Yeah, see, okay, so me call a toxic power. I could do that. Yeah, I could talk to some of my connections. Let's see. In fact, I didn't I have like an on again, off again thing with like Noelle Starlight or someone?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Exactly.
Dozers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call on a toxic power. So I'll roll plus spirit. There you go.
Oh, good.
Oh, fantastic.
Mark XP. That's what's
Yeah.
good. So I'm going to say, as you're getting on your light cycle, because it's almost start time, that's when you try to reach our friend from the Dozers. Specifically, you're trying to reach Noah Starlight, who is an executive, the leader of the Dozers. When your hollow screen comes on, so this is something that only you can see. This is very private. No one else can hack into this or see it. But you see Noah like form digitally in front of you. So she has her beautiful dark skin and the incredibly, oh, I'm sorry, Faye have really beautiful dark skin. And like long white hair reaching all the way down to the floor. And there's this beautiful set of rhinestones just like placed right up against the eyes, pure white lips. And when Faye come up on the screen, you can see Fair Eyes. They look a little like dulled. There's something off about Fair Eyes. And that's when you hear Noelle's voice say, "Oh, Sapphire, if only you had called a little sooner." And that's when you see a hand from out of nowhere from the side of the hollow screen just like reach out and smash across Noel's face. And they hold onto their to Fair Face, and there's like you can see that there's like blood starting to like show up, and you can see like Noelle turns, and there's a voice that says, "If you know what's good for you, end the call right now." And everything starts to fade to black.
All right, so I'm officially pissed off. Because like the reason I'm not like with Noelle is because like my commandment was like, hey, don't like actually get attached to people, and I like have too many feelings for her. For Fair. So like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, Faye, you're so hot, and I love Faye. I mean, not that I love anyone, because love is not allowed for a person like me. You have your suitors and they give you what you need. But I just like very visibly angry, like revving her her motorcycle, just like
Yeah,
I did that. I'm gonna rip them through their throat, and I'm gonna eliminate them, and every last piece of them. I'm gonna make them suffer so bad they're gonna wish they were dead.
This definitely sounds like a stagger moment. I'm gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
So,
hardcore stagger.
yeah. So when you suffer a staggering physical or emotional blow, choose an option from the following based on the number of conditions you have marked. So you have 0 conditions right now. So your choices are: you lash out at someone whose regard matters to you, you hesitate or stumble and the opposition gains an opportunity, or you grin and bear the blow. Mark 2 conditions.
Oh gosh. Ooh, this is hard. This is hard. Oh. Because I like stumbling, and I like marking conditions, because I'm emotional. So I feel like she even said like if you only called a little bit sooner. So I think I have to take. I think I gotta take 2 conditions. I think because I gotta mark guilty. Because like she just said I could have helped if I was a little bit faster. Faye just said they're a little faster, and I think I'm going to mark. Gosh, I think frightened, because I'm worried about what's happening to Fair.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in exchange for marking those conditions and really getting into it, I'll say that as you get into the light cycle, it starts to come together. You realize you recognize something from that moment, that voice, even though they tried to distort their voice and hide who they were. You know that this is your father's latest plaything.
Oh no.
You
Oh, no.
recognize her voice anywhere. So her name is Lorea. Right. And so she moved up in the ranks. You know that she did it by destroying every bit of competition that was in her way. But you also know that she and Medex used to work together.
Oh.
But yeah, so as that information comes to you, as you realize what's going on, that's when the lights come on. It completely floods this area, the starting area. You hear all the light cycles come to life, and you see Cora and Saturn take the lead without hesitation. You can hear the machinery screeching through the night. The three of you manage to catch up fairly quickly, but there are several dozen other riders all around you, pushing in, trying to get you to come off. This part of the race, it starts out fairly early. It's underground. It used to look like something like a parking lot. There are lots of pillars all over the place, one after another. Parts of it are like starting to crumble. You can see like on some of the walls, they've spray painted messages and art along the wall. And it's going to take a lot to make sure that each of you can make it through it safely. So my question is, who wants to take the lead in order to defy disaster and help the rest of you make it out to the front?
I feel like Medex would be the one ready to do that, especially because she's like, I can bear if things get really bad. I can get myself out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get ready to defy disaster. So
Hell yeah.
when you push your limits to achieve something extraordinary that's not covered by another move, or to avert imminent danger for yourself or someone else, which is what you described, say what you're willing to sacrifice and pick your approach. So what are you willing to sacrifice here?
Ooh, oh my goodness. I definitely feel like, you know, if my light cycle needs to take a beating in order just to get to the end, or if I need to take like one of my bio limbs needs to come off and if it gets really bad, I can handle that. Like I'm someone that can probably use one of my underground connections to get my tentacles back, you know what I mean? So I'm ready to take limb or light cycle damage in order to, as much as I would hate my awesome relationship light cycle to take a beating, I'm ready.
Awesome. Yeah. So what approach would you like? So depending on what approach you pick, that's the stat that you roll with. So you get to roll. So we have your list like might, endurance, courage, or swiftness or elegance, or social insight, which feels like a little difficult to use right now, but if you justify it, it could work.
Sure.
Cleverness or knowledge, or willpower or metaphysical skill.
I feel like definitely swiftness or elegance. I feel like this is the moment where Medex's like sleekness is going to shine.
Awesome. So roll with plus grace.
And roll with. So it says roll with modifier. Should I put +1 or just submit?
If you already selected grace, then you don't need to do any modifiers because Roll20 knows your grace.
Got you. Eight.
Ooh. Nice. Okay, so we have a mixed beat. I think that's our best roll so far.
Yes.
Sure is.
You know, it's bound to happen at some point. Okay, so on a 7 to 9, the GM will offer you a hard choice or success with a sacrifice. Okay, so I'm going to say, as you lead to the front, so we see you weaving in and out, and it's one of those like awesome moments where like you go down low to the ground with your light cycle. We see your tentacle brush against the pavement for a moment. There's a close-up of your gorgeous face. But as you rush through, you know that you can help the other two, but you're going to put Cora Flynn into danger if you do so. The two of you are neck to neck, and they are not willing to give up the pace. So it's either you're going to have to offer up a sacrifice like you said you would, take a condition to make sure that you can you can make sure that the other two can catch up with you, or you're gonna have to be willing to hurt Cora in the process and force her off. What are you going to do?
I feel like hurting Cora would not be it, for me. I can't do that. Like, at the end of the day, I care about Cora. I want this connection, but also just like it's violence for violence's sake. Like, there's something. If I can take the bearing, I can take it. So I'm going to instead take the condition.
Okay, which condition do you think?
Can I catch the severed tentacle if that's what's happening here?
Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's do your thing, and then.
So I pick conditions first, or
yeah, which one do you think? Because conditions here are emotions. So like, what do you think you feel right now? Do you feel angry, frightened, guilty, hopeless, or insecure in this moment?
definitely frightened because my biomods are partly where I get a lot of my powers. It's why I'm called MedX. It's like a pun on Medusa, right? So I'm a little frightened. Like I took this risk and like it was risky and risky things happening, but like fuck, like I don't want to lose my limbs. Like I don't want to lose my tentacles. Like that's just gonna take a while to repair,
Exactly.
So, yeah. You can click frightened on your Roll20 sheet. It's under conditions in the right-hand column.
Got it.
And then it'll remind you what that does, because each condition comes with a penalty to some moves. And it'll also remind you of a way to clear it. So in this game, you don't have like hit points. You don't get told that you take physical harm. You track these emotional conditions. And so if you do get full and then have to take another one, then you'll be defeated. But you can recover from these conditions either by getting emotional support from your friends or by unilaterally doing something destructive.
Yeah.
So the Roll20 sheet also reminds you what that thing is. So to clear frightened, you can run away and leave something important behind. Or you could get emotional support from someone who cares about you. But, yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, and I'm gonna say, so I'll narrate what happens. As you get close, you realize Cora is not backing down. They refuse to give you passage. Things are getting narrower and narrower. And Cora leans in close and they say, if you had helped me when I needed you most, I wouldn't even have to be in this position. I'm not going to give in to you, they say, as they smash their light cycle against you. And you can tell they purposely go for the tentacle as it like smashes
Cora.
off.
Fuck.
And so the tentacle goes flying. Catalyst, how do you catch it?
I think this is the moment when we first see one of the unique capabilities of the light cycle. So the tentacle like flies up through the air, and panther legs made of like tree root like emerge and like leap up. So the light cycle does like a panther pounce, and Catalyst like grabs the tentacle and then is sort of like bobbling it like, oh my gosh, it's MedX's tentacle. And is just sort of like hanging on with one hand and like wrangling this twisty tentacle with the other as she follows the path that MedX has set out, has forged for them to proceed with the race.
Also, since I have a number of limbs that can turn into tentacles, I'm thinking this is probably one of the ones that I was using for like arm support. Like I've turned my other arm now into a tentacle as well, so I can cling on for dear life. But that was definitely one of my arms. Like it's definitely kind of panicking a little bit back there.
Yeah, same.
Same. 2020, full of panic.
I shout to Catalyst like, hey, don't move it around too much. It'll calm down if you're calm, but it has the sense that you're calm.
Are you calm, Catalyst?
No. We'll definitely tense up and be like, calm. It's okay. It's okay, MedX's hand that I'm holding tenderly, cradling in this dangerous situation. It'll be okay.
That's great.
I'm sitting there like, oh, Catalyst, but I know that she's got it. She's not gonna let go of that arm. But it's gonna frighten her.
I think as you're like trying to calm down the tentacle is like calming you down in return, like trying to stroke you.
Oh.
I have a little bit, like, I don't have much control, but I'm like trying to like pat Catalyst on the back the best I can, which might involve a lot of slapping and paddling. It's like, there, you're fine.
All right. If it's too out of control, Catalyst is just gonna like bite it to get another point of contact. You're like, all right, hold still, you.
Fine, it tastes like calamari.
I just
my
want to
God.
know if this counts as enticing MedX.
It's definitely intimate. You're biting my my limb.
Your tentacle.
Let's roll to entice if you want.
Well, MedX, do you feel like this is enticing or
So
no?
tell me again, enticing. What does that mean?
It means that it appeals to your physical or emotional sensibilities.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, this is really sweet. You caught my tentacle, you're biting it a little bit. Like, and it's also like I'm super stressed out, but I'm also like, huh, yeah, one of the girls that signed my bike did that a few times. She was pretty kinky. So I'm like a little bit flustered. Like, I'm a little bit, like, accidentally
Good,
but
good.
I'm flustered.
Good. And yeah, I mean, it is not meant as a flirtation, but it doesn't have to be. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, an upbeat.
What did we get?
Wow.
Oh,
I didn't know this was
nice.
possible.
Right? Who even knows? Who even knows what happens when you roll high numbers in this game?
I've never seen him.
So this is one of the moves that makes a little conversation happen in the sense that first of all, I'm going to gain a string on you, and then second, you're going to tell me which of these three things you're choosing. Do you get flustered and awkward? Do you promise something that you think I want, or do you give in to desire? Which is up to you how to interpret that.
I feel like my emotions are really high, my adrenaline's pumping, I'm a little stressed out, but like for me, like I'm gonna give in to desire a little bit. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna turn into Catalyst, like, hey, you know, that does kind of have some good memories attached to it. Doesn't exactly feel that bad when you bite like that. That's all right by you.
Catalyst cannot reply because she has a mouthful of tentacle. But she does blush.
Medic sort of like, again, memories.
I think on that note, that's a perfect time to say, as we cut through this part of the race, you come up close to our sex dungeon, which was part of this area. It was in fact the main attraction in this area. It was one of many. And I want to ask, let's see, Sapphire, you helped build this place despite your dad. This was early on during your initial spite fests. So tell me about the sex dungeon. Like, you can be as brief or as detailed as you like.
Well, it's definitely like this like cool queer utopia place that I made that's just like, right, you come here. And it also, like, because I had a lot of money, I think that like it's definitely it's like, right, like you got like all your like cool queer supplies, and they have like free like mod stuff like for transition and stuff. Like, it's just like very cool place that like you can hang out in PG-13ly, have some fun with your pals in a great and fun PG-13 kind of way.
It's very PG-13.
Clothes on, hanging out in a bed but kissing kind of way.
Camera refuses to pan any more than a mere chest shot.
Perfect.
So, you know, there are plus tons of things just for all of the weird kinks. You know, you can get all your fun kinks here. You want to shrink? Sure, they have that. You know, all that thing. So I'm very proud of it, and it's very like it definitely has the touch of like designed by Sapphire.
King
like,
by Sapphire.
Yeah. Is there like a touch of gold over everything?
I think it has like pink neon lights with like a little gold like rims on top of it, and like very like I personally helped design some of the stuff.
Yeah, perfect. I'm gonna say that this place is known for when you need to talk it out, like when you just need to sit down with someone and talk it out. And so the thing is, you know that the entire area is supposed to, it's scheduled for rehabilitation, like I mentioned earlier, but everyone here who's working in the area, they refuse to leave. So you can see outside there are drones. They're trying to like forcibly pull off some of the things, like some of the decor and some of the stuff on the outside, the signage. You can see that some of the bigger robots are inside and they're trying to pull things apart, but you're speeding really fast past it. But you notice that Saturn, who's supposed to be trying to win this race, instead she moves behind this area and she jumps down from the light cycle and rushes inside. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to go past, keep up with Cora, or are you going to check in on what's happening here?
Oh gosh. Ooh.
It could be a good moment for someone to try to figure out Obsidian.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Does someone want to roll the move? Try to see what they can pick up.
I don't know if Medix knows Obsidian well enough to roll, but recognizes them, but like even less so. Like Cora was like the person that I had worked with. Maybe Sapphire.
Yeah, I could try. I don't like Obsidian, but I try to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah, you don't need to like someone to figure them out.
Here we go.
I feel like this is like life advice. Ooh, not bad. Mixed beat. Yeah, okay. So on a mixed beat, you ask two questions, but they may ask one of you. So like April mentioned, this could be something that you ask out loud, or it could be something you're trying to work through and have your intuition answer. So what does it look like, Sapphire? And what questions do you ask?
So I think I'll hop off because I'm trying to figure out like what the hell they're doing, and it's my place. I mean, it's the community's place, but like, it's kind of my place because I paid for it and helped design it, you know?
I feel like Sapphire is just a definition of opulence. But anyway, go on.
King by Sapphire.
Don't forget, or do forget, you're in disguise, whatever's funnier.
Yeah.
Don't you know who I am?
This is my
In
kink
disguise.
dungeon.
Or, I mean, I guess Obsidian would know that I fund them, so they would know that I do stuff. So it doesn't really matter if Obsidian knows. Yeah, I think I'll follow them, and I'll be like, oh gosh, what are your feelings towards this place? Like, what are you doing here? Like why did you stop in the race?
Yeah, let me answer that question first, and then you can decide what your second one is. So as you jump off the light cycle, you can see Obsidian has crashed through, and they've drawn out their sword. So as it comes out of the scabbard, it's just this deep black light that just fills up the entire room, and there's crackling energy that spills forth, hits the ground, moves up their bodysuit, completely lights up their hair, right? So you're coming up from behind. You can see that they've drawn their sword, and in front of her, Obsidian places the sword against Noelle's neck.
Oh,
and you hear Obsidian say, you hear Obsidian say, "Take off that face. You don't deserve to wear it."
To Noelle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Oh wait. Oh fuck. Oh no. I think I know what's happening. I think Sapphire might know what's happening too.
I love how this is the TTRPG question, right? I know what's happening. This is my question. Does my character know what's happening?
Yeah. And I think oh gosh, this is hard. Someone's wearing my on and off again girlfriend's face. Probably.
Not again.
Yeah. How could I? Ooh. What do you hope to get from this?
Yeah. So as you're trying to make sense, that's when you hear, and Fair voice is almost exactly like Noelle's. Like you can barely tell. You just know because you just called Noelle, and you know that this cannot be Faye. So as Noelle, we're just gonna call them like pseudo Noelle for the sake of clarity. So as pseudo Noelle turns towards Obsidian, Fair smile like breaks through, and it just gets wider and wider as the face starts to shift, and you see the faceplate start to move, and it opens up completely, revealing all of these teeth. And a voice that is not like Noelle's just comes through, like robotic and structured and breaking apart. And you hear them say, "You'll be the first that I consume, and then I'm going to eat everything else here in this pitiful place." And this long tongue comes out and starts like going up Obsidian's cheek. And Obsidian says, "You've eaten enough of me. There's nothing left." What do you do?
Well, I think that I'm gonna have to deal with this situation. There's a face stealer in my dungeon.
A hungry face stealer.
Yeah. So
A hungry, hot, monstrous face stealer
yeah,
in your friend dungeon.
in my friend dungeon.
I'm blushing so hard there's steam coming onto my glasses.
Oh my god. I think I'm gonna draw my sword. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to just like sneak attack while I can.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that, and then we'll move on to. I think I want to check it in Catalyst right after this. But so, what does it look like when you take out your sword?
So I think I pull out my sword and it's like shining. It's like sapphire blue and then like gold like outlines. And it's kind of like a two-pronged sword. It splits in half, kind of like a halo sword, like the laser ones they got in that. And yeah, so I think it looks like she like kind of like moves in and tries to like kind of swipe at her at like this weird teeth face, the many teeth. It's like, I'll just cut off your teeth, I guess.
Also, I like it. So let's roll. This sounds like fight for sure.
Yeah. And I'm doing it with grace, I think, because I'm fast and coming in there. She fights. She does everything with grace.
Of course.
And I have a -2 on that because I have frightened, but I think that automatically calculates.
If you go to, do you know how to do it? Do you know how to make it automatically calculate?
Yeah, I have it marked on my sheet.
Sweet. Yeah, so under the list of conditions, it has modifier. Yeah, well, even with a -2. Yeah, so under the list of conditions, there's a list of modifiers, and it'll auto-populate that when you're frightened. And then you can click that modifier's little check box and then the dice under the list of all modifiers, and it will roll and apply it. So it will not apply it all on its own, but Fred at Evil Hat figured out a way to make it happen. In this case, it doesn't matter, but for future reference, that's how you make it automatically subtract 2.
Okay, cool. So yeah, 7 then. So still mixed beat.
Yeah, which is not bad at all. So on a 7 to 9, choose 2, and your opponent chooses 1.
Okay. It's fun to narrate these back and forth if you want to sort of narrate what's your first thing, and then the opponent will do a thing. And,
yeah. Okay, well, I think I'm going to start with violence because I came in with a swing. And I'm going to take an object from my opponent or seize superior position, I think is my first thing. So I think she's kind of like moving to get her footing, and it's like she knows this like friend dungeon really well. So like she kind of like knows where to move to like drop the right things on them and like use the environment to her advantage. The friendship whips and stuff like that.
Yes,
So yeah.
the friendship whips. Absolutely. So you seize a superior position. You use, we'll say that I like the idea that there's a trap door from above and then you just pull at it and these like friendship whips come down. And so like you see that they're completely caught up in it. They move back and forth and there's just screeching sound, but they pull in Obsidian even closer, like more of the tongue reaches out around their face. And you can hear Obsidian. Obsidian turns and looks at you, and you can see how angry Obsidian is. And she goes, "No, this is my fight." But she's obviously in a really, really bad spot. But you recognize that fire in her eyes. You've seen it in yourself. She has a lot to prove. And so I'm going to choose. This is a jammy game, so we're going to choose flirting or provoking with your opponent to gain a string on them. So I'm going to say, like, as that happens, the friendship whips move around them, and they let out this like pleasurable noise. You can tell that they like the friendship whips. It's quite pleasing to them. But then you notice, like, coming from behind you, you realize that there's another appendage that's coming up from behind. You realize it's connected to the back of their neck. They've like let out a cable that wraps around your shoulders and pulls you in closer. And they say, "Oh, you look like an entire meal yourself," they say. "I'll have Obsidian first as an appetizer, but you, my dear, will be the main course."
I'm not just a meal. I'm also dessert.
So what do you choose as a second option?
I'm gonna just stab this person. I'm gonna do damage. Now, I don't believe I invited you to my dungeon. So if you'll excuse me, and then stab.
Perfect. Inflicting a condition on them. So as you do that, what does it look like? Like just go straight in for the stabby stab.
Yeah, I'm gonna like try to like kind of like hit them where the cable's at to like weaken their grip on me. Because obviously I'm selfish, so I'm not going for
Obsidian.
I want to help Obsidian, but if I have to choose between Obsidian or me, it's got to be me.
Sapphire Rich's way.
That's true.
My superior intellect and beauty must be preserved for future generations.
And it is your dungeon, so.
Yeah.
Right. And so as you do that, they pull back with this like screeching sound that fills up the entire area. And you can see you've made them desperate. And they slam their hand against the wall. And the wall starts to like shift and respond. And you hear a voice like come over the recording. Detonation sequence activated in 10, 9, 8. And we're going to cut to Catalyst in this moment. Actually, I realized this is a good time to take our first 5-minute break so we can take a quick bio break and take care of things. But we'll come back and see what Catalyst is up to. So are we good to go on a 5-minute break, everybody?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do we turn off our cameras?
No. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Thirsty Sword Lesbians, Neon City 2099. And so after, I want to say drop the bomb, but that's not appropriate. So after that moment with Sapphire, at Sapphire's fine establishment, which is going to apparently self-destruct in 10 seconds, we'll come back and see if that actually happens. We cut to, we see back in the race, Catalyst and Medex are able to keep head-to-head with Cora. The three of you are leading. You've seen from this vantage point that Cora is not here to play. They have taken out most of the other racers. They forced them off the track. You've seen them hack into the drone so that they'll start attacking the other racers. And this is Medex, this is really worrying because you see that Cora's training from her Colony Warriors days are coming back. From the dossier you got on Cora, on the information you got from the rebels, you know that Cora has never raced like this. So this is incredibly worrying. Like, she's getting more and more vicious as time passes, as you get closer and closer to the end of the race.
Would this be an opportunity for me to use Who's the Monster? Because this is seeming a little intense on Cora's part. Like, it's sort of crossing a line.
Ooh, I like that.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I was going to emotionally support her too. We can do a double.
Yes.
Yeah. I love this idea.
So should I say first what I'm going to do before I roll, or?
Yeah, sure. Tell me what it looks like.
So we're, yeah, you start.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we're neck and neck, right? And so I'm noticing this all around me. Obviously my limb is missing, and I'm kind of pissed off that she's not really like kind of upset about that. And I'm frightened, obviously. And I turn to her and basically say like, all right, here's the deal, Cora. Like, shit sucked when we were both working for the MegCorps here in Colony Warrior shit, and like but I have a lot of fucking respect for you right now because you left that behind like I did. But what you're doing right now is beyond the pale. Like, you're not racing fair. Like, it's okay to be tough, but Jesus, you're crossing a line. Like, there's people here like my good friend Catalyst, and like I turn and the tentacles in Catalyst's mouth, and I'm like, it's like, come on, she gave you a carrot. Like, what are you doing? You could get people seriously killed, and like I'm getting really like upset now because this is my thing. Like, you're gonna get people killed the same way that you did when we were fighting together, like recklessly and stupidly, that did not need to die. So I'm getting pissed off, and I'm trying to expose to her like, you think you're like this like gray do-gooder, but you're doing things that are borderline villainous right now.
Perfect. Yeah, so I love that the move is Who's the Monster when you expose the hypocrisy of someone, which sounds exactly like what you did, who is supposedly virtuous. Roll plus daring. So let's see how that goes.
Cool.
Ooh, nice.
Oh shit.
We have an 11. Okay, so and on a 10 plus, gain a string on them and choose one.
Let's see.
So you have a few great options there. Which one would you like?
I feel like your words sting. That would make the most sense, because we're kind of like, not everyone might be able to hear exactly what we're saying, because we're kind of keeping it. We don't want to like expose too much of our past, but I feel like Cora probably would be a little. That would probably cut deep, because she knows that like I'm big on my ethics and morals, you know what I mean? So that'd probably cut deep for her.
Wow.
I like that. And so as you say that, you see Cora turn to look at you, and the helmet is still on, but it starts to disappear just a little bit it digitally starts to pull back, and you see her face, and she turns to you and she says, "No, you remember a different Cora. This is exactly what happened on that Jupiter station, remember?" And as she says that, you know for a fact you've never fought on Jupiter. And she starts to describe. So you realize she's trying to talk to you in code.
Mm.
And she says, remember, we had to fight just long enough in order to help those who needed to come in. And so as she's describing a mission that you never went on, you start to put two and two together. And you realize that she's trying to buy time. She's trying to make sure that everybody gets out of the race before the dozers come in.
Mm.
And she's telling you that they're going to come in any minute now.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so I'm keeping up with her code, and I realize, first off, my first thought is not winning this race. My first thought is I need to tell Catalyst and Sapphire what's going on.
Ooh, before you do that, I have to say, Cora comes
Yeah.
in really close and she says, you have to protect her no matter what. And you can tell she's talking about Catalyst.
I honestly feel a little bit like, I don't want to say smitten, but I feel also there's part of MedX that feels a little vulnerable right now. Like I finally got through to Cora. Like I kind of want to reconnect with her because it's Cora, right? Like we were comrades and we're on the same sort of side right now. But I also feel a little like I blush a little bit when she says that because we have a common cause. We both want to protect Catalyst. So I return in code and she can see that the sparks are flicking a little bit in my hair from the tentacles as my face turns slightly red. Also, it's Cora. She's stupidly hot. Like, let's be real. Have you seen the way she races? I lost my tentacle for this.
It's sparking.
Perfect.
Is that normal?
Cut back to Catalyst and the sparks going out. Actually, what I like is the idea, like Catalyst is surrounded by these beautiful lights, and then you realize it's the sparks from the tentacle.
That's amazing.
Is it supposed to be wiggling like this?
It's wiggling and sparkling.
So, Catalyst, as this is going on, so your little drone friend is still with you, and you told them to keep their distance. But they come in close and they give off these like panic click click beep, 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 kind of sounds. And you
What's
look
that,
up.
Droney? Sapphire's stuck in the dungeon? What's Journey telling me?
I feel like they're stuck in the well. Anyway, sorry. So when Droney tells you that, you look up and you see all of the drones have disappeared. All the drones, all the robots, all the signs have flickered off. This is a really, really bad sign. And you can feel all the tech, because you're a techno witch. You can feel something going on. You can feel like the air is crackling with energy. There are programs starting just on the edge of your periphery. You can feel it. Ooh. What do you do?
I feel like I'd better commune with all of this technology. So I need to be safe for this to work out the way that I want it. So I think I'm just gonna like assume that everything's chill now between MedX and Cora because they're having this very nice conversation. I'm gonna ride up like between them and just say like, cover me, something's not right. I need to figure out what it is. And I'm just sort of like holding on to the tentacle as I like shut my eyes on my light cycle, but you know, Klawasaki has eyes and can keep an eye out for things. And reach in. I'm going to involve Droney too, right? I'm going to put like a hand on Droney, who's connected to the whole network and is like tuned into what's going on. And do like a neon skin circuit looking thing. Like I don't have any mods, but I glow. And I'm going to try to awaken the tech, which will be the Techno Witch version of my Awaken the Wild playbook move. So am I in like any kind of immediate danger?
No, I'm gonna say like with MedX and Cora, they're both committed to protecting you.
Amazing. They both do it, as I knew they would. They're good at heart.
Aw.
Okay. Let's roll spirit. Woof!
So good.
Big numbers.
Holy shit.
Sometimes big numbers happen.
Love to see
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
My GM superstition makes me feel like I can't comment further on the subject. So, what happens on such a high roll?
Well, I get to choose one of the things, and I am waffling between I alter its behavior, ecosystem, or atmosphere to one I choose, or I make it dangerous to a certain type of person or creature. I feel like this depends on whether MedX manages to tell me that like the dozers are coming. So maybe let's make this like a little bit of a conversation. Like I feel something's not right, something's coming, it's getting ready for something. And so yeah, MedX,
Yeah.
do you want to hop in? Yeah.
So I motioned to Cora like, hey, this is between me and Catalyst, like, do your thing. And so we kind of are with our light cycles, like our side by side, and I put a hand on your shoulder, in a sort of like, listen, like, here, we need to talk. And we're both racing fast, so don't worry, you're not gonna lose. Like my other arm is not gonna come pop off too this time. So first off, I say, hey, Catalyst, look, like, you did me a solid back there catching my tentacle, and you didn't have to do that. Like, so I appreciate that first off. Like you're like a real one.
I don't want you to get hurt. We can reattach it, right?
Like more or less, but
More
you know
or less.
What? It's the thought that counts, though, and you're sweet.
Okay.
I say with a slight blush.
We will reattach it. I promise you. I'll find a way.
Well, if you say so, Catalyst, then I believe you for sure. We will put a way to get that tentacle back on my body eventually. Whereas like this like empty wound of like just flickering tentacle nerves are like flicking back and forth, making like whizzing sounds.
just wanna reach out and soothe that, but we're in a crisis moment. So
so I say, look, and I'm pulling closer now to kind of say like, hey, like I'm telling you something I wouldn't tell just anyone. And I say, Cora and I spoke. You know, we're not just in a dangerous situation. Things are really about to go fucking down right now. Like, and I kind of motion like, I don't know what happened to Sapphire, but this race is not just a race. It's barely a race at all. Like, we're really about to like. I'm saying they're like trying to find the right words because I don't want like Droney or anyone else spying on us. But also because I'm a little concerned still. I'm paranoid. I'm MedX.
Droney's a good boy.
And I say, I'm sure they are. I'm sure he is.
Beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, beep.
It's like, I trust your judgment. I say with like fingers crossed behind my back, and I say,
Tentacles crossed behind your back.
And so I take my tentacle and I put it on my sword and I start to unsheath it while using my other two tentacles to hold me still in the light cycle. And I'm showing off the sword, by the way, that has like the signal of the megacorp, but it's like stained in blood over where the megacorp symbol used to be. And it's like shining. It's shining like green, and it's like nice and slick. And not just is there like blood stained over it of my ex-lover who I had to kill to get out of here, but it also starts shining too. And so it's like this red and green mix. And I say, look, something serious is about to happen. This race is not just a race. And I think we're about to see, not just the megacores, but the worst of the megacores they have to offer for this area. I think it could be the dozers.
Nice.
And I'm like holding it out like
flare. Yeah. And then I'm gonna draw my junk sword that with the arcing lightning, and communing with the tech in the area, I'm going to make it dangerous to the corp.
Yes.
And all of their enforcers and instruments. So yeah, it's analogous to like making an ecosystem hostile or like the creepy jungle thing that's going to trip you or whatever. Like the tech is alive and inhospitable and dangerous to the corp.
Nice, nice. I really like
Like
that.
if they dare to show their faces here, we'll be ready for them.
And I pat Catalyst on the back again. It's like not just like a friend pat, like it's kind of like a little bit of like I care about you, like kind of shoulder rub too. And I'm like, and I'm like, you're amazing when you do that. I'm like impressed.
It means a lot coming from you.
And then so as you say that, that's when Cora lets out a shout and says, they're already here. And Catalyst, you feel your connection to the tech barely comes in time. There's a dome that starts to form ahead of you. You see the building start to come to life, like they're full of lights as they commune with you, and you hear the spirit of the machines that were discarded in the area reaching out, calling out to you, Catalyst. And they all say in one voice, they're here. And so you see the Megacorp helicopters, they come in thrumming through the sky, but the buildings react and they give off arc lightning that reacts violently to them. You see several of the helicopters go down. You see the Megacorp come in one after the other, trying to tear down through the area. But there is one mech that is especially strong, and you recognize it. It's Whiskey Zero, the same one that destroyed your home. And so that's when you see the mech come up. It's all pure chrome and it shines like a purple oil, an oil spill. And there's all this colors coming off of it. It radiates outwards as it crashes through the buildings, tearing through the defenses. You can tell it's taking a lot of that damage, but it's just constantly regenerating over and over again, while the rest of the Megacorp drones and robots are unable to get through. It just bulldozes its way through, basically, tearing apart through the buildings. And you hear this laugh come from a loudspeaker. Hello, little gardener. I was hoping you'd be here. I'm glad our intel was up to date. And that's when Cora grabs you medics and say, you can't hurt them no matter what. I have to make sure Red Fang is going to make out of this.
Fuck.
Can I hear that as well, or was that a private Cora? Okay.
Okay.
Because I think like the interruption was like Catalyst and Medex having that moment, and Catalyst is like, that means a lot coming from you. Like raises her sword at this like new arrival, right? And is like totally ready to like go at her, and then Cora says, no, that'll put Red Fang in danger.
Yeah.
She's like, well, then how do we get Red Fang out of danger so that I can take care of this monster?
So I'm thinking carefully. And I'm kind of at first I'm thinking like, screw Red Fang. Like Catalyst clearly is incensed, and I'm like, fuck no, I have to protect Catalyst. And so oh shoot. So what I decided to do instead is I talked to Cora. I try to get insight, like what's going on with Red Fang? Like why aren't they here?
And then that's when you see the mech bounce forward, and then they sort of like push forward their shoulder, rolling, and you can see like at the back, strapped to the back, is Red Fang's light cycle. And you see Red Fang has been lashed down, like all these chains on top of them.
Shoot. Okay. I turn to Cora and I say, that explains it. Got it.
It does.
Well, so I turned to Catalyst. Yeah. No, I pointed out to her.
Right Great. Then all we have to do is free her and then take down Whiskey Zero. And I'm gonna bound forward. Do the Jaguar leap thing, or we're all like having this intimate conversation while racing at like high speeds, and we'll do the Jaguar like jump off the side of a building to try to like get up to the same height as this like giant dozer mech, and that is my intention, to like Jaguar chomp through the chains and try to rescue Red Fang.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely Defy Disaster, because you can tell Spitfire has tried to make sure it wouldn't be easy to grab their prize, their bargaining chip, basically.
Yeah. What would you think of a fight where I'm trying to take something from the opponent? Is this like appropriate stakes for that, or is this like too high stakes for that? Does that sound good? Okay.
I feel like that makes sense too.
Cool. So yeah, we're definitely gonna claw up this nice chrome climbing. Like when the cat uses you as a tree to get to a tall place. So we're gonna try to do some damage on our way up. And so this is a grace fight, and my familiar Jaguar does help mechanically with this as well. And let's go to fight. Oh yeah, I'm okay at this. This is my first fight.
Yay!
This Catalyst's first fight.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Did you roll already? Oh,
I just got it. Just got it. Thanks, Pete. So yeah, the first thing I want to do is take something from the opponent, which is like chomp through the chains that have Red Fang bound. And then what does Whiskey Zero want to do?
Yeah, and I think Whiskey Zero, you hear a laugh come from inside the mech, just arcing outwards. It sounds kind of similar to Sapphire's coming through. Like just must have gone to the same finishing school. And so as that comes through, they reach out and they grab you. Like you realize they let you get Red Fang so that they could come in, and like you can see like they grab the bike and try to pull it away from you, inflicting a condition. Right, because you feel, in fact, I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna say they tried to reach out to you, but your familiar made sure that they take the brunt of it instead in order to protect you.
Everyone wants to protect the baby gay.
I think
like real life.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm gonna go with angry. I think like being in the throes of the battle, like she was already angry, but now she's capital A, like angry. And let's mark that. Yeah, okay. I will not be figuring out people very effectively as long as I am this angry. Cool. All right. Yeah, and then I would like to inflict a condition on Whiskey Zero. So you think I've fallen into your trap, but you've fallen into mine, and I start like moving tendrils of like vines growing up the hand that has the bike gripped. It is a bluff, but maybe it'll make her feel bad, which is my goal.
Putting that condition to use.
Yeah.
And so as you do that, I'm gonna say there's a moment when the mech falters. You can see, like, for a moment the part of it, the front becomes transparent, and you can see Spitfire inside, and you hear Cora scream, "You can't do this to her. She's not a warrior like us. We can end this. We don't have to keep doing this." And that's when Spitfire says, "You've forgotten. We've only been made to be weapons. There's nothing left for us." And so that's when she pushes past you, Catalyst, and she grabs Cora with one large mech hand, pulls her off of the bike. And we're going to cut to Sapphire. And so Sapphire, the detonation sequence has been activated. Obsidian is still wrapped up in this doppelganger creature. There's a lot of teeth, there's a lot of tongue. It sounds like something else. Anyway, there's a lot going on. So what are you going to do? So 9, 8, 7.
Do you think I'm afraid of some simple self-destruction? I'll just hack that away. And I think she's gonna go in there and try to like hack into their system using her like very fancy like master code tech that she has. And is gonna try to stop it. I guess that's like a defy data disaster.
I have an offer to make you.
Okay, what's that?
So as you hack into the systems, you get a call and you hear your father over the line.
Oh.
And he says, "My dear, I see that you're in a little bit of trouble on one of your adventures. I could help you." So you won't have to roll, but he'll definitely call in this favor later.
Oh no. Okay. Ooh. Oh gosh. I think Sapphire's also sweating. Okay.
And what is her
Sure.
name? Noelle? I can make sure she's safe.
Yes. Okay, cool. Good. For her, yes.
And you hear your father, like he's about to try to convince you, okay, yes. And then he says, I'll have my girlfriend stand down and we'll make sure Noelle is patched up. But here you go. And so he sends you the program that you would need to stop the self-destruction sequence. And he says, but we're going to have to talk about this. No more friendship dungeons, dear.
Oh, fuck. Okay, Daddy. Talk to you later.
And he says, okay, see you later, princess. And
see you later, Dad. You're the best. Oh my god. And after she hangs up, no.
And both Obsidian and the doppelganger are looking at you like, what the? But you hack into it. Everything starts to shut down and normalize. You even see like there's a bit of feedback that gets thrown off. And you can see the doppelganger is forced to let go. The tongue unwinds and they're slammed against the wall. And Obsidian takes this moment to reach out to you, grabs your hand and says, we have to go. We can't get you hurt.
Okay, let's go. Handle the stuff. Cool. Yeah. Okay, they're gonna be safe. So it was worth it. And they go onto their light cycle and try to catch up to her friends.
And so when that happens, Obsidian says, you go ahead. I'll take care of the last of it. And there's a note of finality to her voice. Very like self-sacrificing kind of finality.
Hell no. She grabs them and just like throws them onto the back of their life cycle and drives off. You're staying with me.
No,
are you using your friendship whips?
Yes, I use a friendship whip and wrap it around and then pull them into them.
And she tries to struggle. She makes these friendship noises in response.
Wow. I feel very friended right now. I'm feeling like the friendship radiating through me.
Does Obsidian take a condition?
Oh, Obsidian is completely smitten. I'm going to say that right now.
Yes.
In fact, Obsidian leans against your back, places their head against your shoulder. I didn't know a princess like you had this much bite to her.
There's all sorts of things you don't know about me.
And so as that happens, you leave and you can hear the rest of the people who were working at the friendship dungeon. They were so emboldened by seeing their Sapphire princess fight for them that they all gang up on the doppelganger who's barely able to make it out in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we cut back to, I think this is going to be a perfect moment where we see Sapphire go all out with their bike. Obsidian is helping out. it's gonna be super cool, cyberpunk anime out of this world. You're like from rooftop to rooftop, like just using whatever ramps you can just to get your way to catch up with the rest. That's when you see the mech land. You see Catalyst being super awesome, just like fighting this mech head on. You see Catalyst grab Red Fang to rescue them, but then you see Whiskey Zero reach out, grab Korra off of the light cycle, right? And you hear Obsidian like yell out no. And so there's this horrible like moments where it's like between Red Fang and between Korra, and Korra says, just go. I'll distract Whiskey long enough. The rest of you go. And she takes out her sword. What do you do?
I feel like right away I want to say I think Medex would feel the sense of like Medex would say, like, if I leave you now, like I couldn't do anything before, but this time I can't make that same decision. Like I can change what happens this time, and so I'm not going to let you die, Korra, especially because like I'm a little blushing now because I'm starting to realize how much I care about Korra. Like we're on the same side. Like, oh my God, she like talked in code with me. It was like old times, but we're on the good side this time. So I'm like, Korra, I can't do that. Like, I can't let you die this way. I can't let you go. And I have my sword out, and I'm like, my hair is fully flaming now. My tentacles are all over the place. My empty tentacle is like flailing a little bit, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave you behind this time.
I hope you don't think I'm going to back down from this fight either. Say, with like a mech hand around me and vines around the mech hand and kind of being like flailed around.
Well, to be fair, both of you are like wrapped up, so it's fine. You're both in a similar situation. But I'm going to say that Korra is going to use all of her strength to like hit through the mech arm, and it like falls over. And she leaps down, and that part of the mech like explodes behind her, whoosh, and her hair comes forward. Her eyes are shining in the fire, and she comes up to you, Medex, and she wraps an arm around you. I'm gonna offer. Do you want to finally kiss in a dangerous situation?
Yes.
Okay, so this is like my favorite move.
That's so good.
I'm like, how do I kiss?
So this is a special move that's literally called finally kiss in a dangerous situation. When people finally kiss after a period of tension, each takes +1 ongoing to get to safety and protect the other for the rest of the scene.
So it's a very light move. But tell us about the kiss.
Tell us about the kiss.
So I lean in carefully, and first I check to make sure that she's okay. Like my heart is pounding, and I still have frightened conditions. Let's not forget that either. And so I put my hand on her face, and I realize that she's okay. She's a little bruised, but she's okay. And I look deeply in her eyes, and I realize now how it wasn't just that I wanted this mission in the first place for us to connect again. For resistance purposes, like that's important, but more than anything, it's just important for me to have someone by my side who knows what it's like, and to join my cause, who knows what it's like. And I can see in her eyes that her eyes are wide, and she kind of like I'm getting this vibe like she did not expect me to make this decision. She thought I was going to abandon her again. And so I lean in and I look at her lips, and they're soft and they're open gently, and I just gently put my hands around her face and her cheeks, and I kiss her. And it starts small at first, but it grows more and more passionate as the mech arm explodes.
And then that's when Korra leans against you, forehead against your forehead, and she says, I never thought I could feel like this again.
And Medex kisses more passionately. Is lost for words.
And that's when Korra steps in front of you. Like there's a moment where she tries to protect you, and she realizes no, together. And she reaches out with her hand to you. And then she says, let's do this. And she moves forward. I'm going to say we have enough time for like one more move. I kind of want to see, I don't know if I want baby gay or like princess. I have to like take this. What do you think?
feel like someone's gonna roll a fight, and then we're gonna get strings helping us make
Nice.
it epic. So
Nice. Let's do it.
I am very happy to be the one fighting, because like that's right. That's what we're fighting for. My two hot crushes making out right there. It's so good.
And I'm like thumbsing up like Catalyst, like get the string on me.
I ship it. Okay.
This is for you, Catalyst.
That's what I want to be doing. So you've got to go. Whiskey Zero. And gonna do a fight. Oh yeah. Shows up in the other window, doing that thing. Rolling with a modifier. Because of my
Ooh.
There we go.
Amazing.
All right. So I think, there's the condition. There's like taking something from them. I want to put them in a position where they're not endangering anyone else. Like, we are dueling. This is a duel. And then I'm gonna take Red Fang's bike too, just as a bonus. Just like I'm gonna tap it and use like the flavor on it is the Nature Witch magic. Like, hey, go find Red Fang, and then like whack it on the flank and have it like drive off to go find Red Fang. So the opponent does get to do a thing to me as well, but that is the collection of things that I'm going to do in these final moments of our scene.
Yeah, I like it. And so as the two of you are dueling like sword to sword, in their case like this huge mech sword comes out and forms, but they're fighting with just the one arm because the other one was destroyed by Cora. But you're coming in so hard, you're just completely like slicing away at parts of the mech, completely revealing the cockpit as it opens up. You see Spitfire putting everything that they have into this. But they're looking at you like their eyes are wide in surprise as they come in close. Who knew, little gardener, that you have this much fire in you?
It's not just me. It's all of the rebellion. We're going to take down the corporate authority. And they just sort of standing on the wreckage of like the mech cockpit and just like raising the sword up and doing a pose. I'm definitely not like doing a stab, but like like victory pose, standing on top of the mech's head or chin, wherever this like opening into the cockpit is.
Medic's thumbs up again, still making out with Cora.
So Sapphire, you can tell that Spitfire is completely distracted in this moment.
Yes.
If you want to take advantage of it somehow.
Of course, I want to finish this.
What do you do?
I think I'm gonna try to just like pull them out of their own mech because they're exposed. Just like kidnap them onto my light cycle too.
It's gonna pile up.
Oh my gosh, can we say both you and Obsidian come out with your friendship whips?
Yes. And we're gonna go ahead and friendship whip them out of their mech together.
And then
So
that's
good.
when Spitfire lets out similar friendship noises as you lash them down into the motorcycle, and they let out a very weak, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly, this is against my will. I am very loyal to the Mechacorp." Like it's they're not a good actress, right? They're good at fighting, and that's about it.
Sapphire Riches, come on. Who wouldn't want to get
Right?
a friendship with her?
And Spitfire says, "Oh, I have to make sure my mech is self-destructs before it commands all the other drones and robots to move away. I can't let that happen."
No, it's good. Just let it do that. Cool. We'll get some more friendship whipping.
I'm going to leap off of the mech. Cora, Medex, catch me.
We're still a little distracted here, so like without getting too descriptive, at least one of us is continuing to make out horizontally as opposed to vertically, so we might not catch you.
I will say that Cora's bike does. So and pulls you in close. And Cora says, "There's enough of me to get around." And so I think that's where we're gonna. I think that's a good end to the session where we have the. I'm gonna assume that someone's gonna take advantage of what Whiskey Zero warned everyone about, and so the self-destruct sequence is now instead focused on the drones and the robots that were trying to invade the area. But it looks like fireworks from where you are, just like going off in the night sky, and just completely filling up the area with all of this beautiful light that's shining in everybody's eyes. And Cora says, "So, a rebellion, you say? I guess we could do that."
I think we just did.
We did. And I'm not just talking about you and I, Cora.
Perfect. So that was Thirsty Sword Lesbians, Neon City 2099. Thank you so much, everybody who joined us in the stream and had fun with us. I had a really great time. I just want to remind everybody that this is part of Roll20's very, very special 3 days of gaming for charity, which is for Code 2040, which is to help uplift and provide more space and resources for Black and Latinx folks in order to give them that space in the tech industry. So every little bit counts, every little bit helps. Thank you so much for donating. And yeah, so we'll do our outros now, I think, with everyone starting with myself. I was your very, very happy Thirsty Sword Lesbian GM. So my name is Jamie. You can find me online at temporalhiccup.itch.io. I like to make games. I'm very inspired. I should make more thirsty games like April here. So this is a really beautiful game. I also want to stress that Thirsty Sword Lesbians is on Kickstarter. It's doing super, super well. We're smashing through our stretch goals because we need more queer games, especially in the year of our Lord 2020. So you can check that out on Kickstarter. But yeah, I also want to let April say anything else that she'd like to say about Thirsty Sword Lesbians. And for our outro, April, take it away.
Great. Yeah. If you back the Kickstarter, you instantly get over 200 pages of thirsty sword lesbian goodness. The game itself is PG-13. There is kissing. The games that you play depend entirely on the people that you invite to your table. So thank you, Jamie, so much for running this game and writing the setting that we are playing in. This was a lot of fun. You're a fantastic game master, and thank you also, Alexis and Anna, for joining us. This was wonderful. This was worth waking up on a Friday morning for. So thanks for that. The Kickstarter's at sword.gay. The game is being published by Evil Hat. There are some really cool Roll20 integrations that the Evil Hat team has already come up with, and that Sean will be leading some sessions on explaining, so you can jump right into playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians on Roll20. And thank you, Roll20, for having us and for running Roll20Con on behalf of such a deserving charity, the Code 2040 project. You can find me personally at Gay Spaceship Games on Twitter. So that's at Gay Spaceship GMS, because that's how many characters there are. And my itch is at gayspaceship.com. So you can check out my other games. Next up, Anna, tell us about yourself.
Hi again. I played MedX. My name is Anna Valens. I'm a reporter of the Daily Dot. I was invited to do this after I wrote about the Kickstarter, actually. And I wanted to thank April for the opportunity and the invite, Jamie for the amazing GM. Oh my goodness, you gave me shivers numerous times. My glasses are still a little fogged up. Shout out to the obsidian scene with the Vor monster. And I wanted to thank, April, Alexis for the amazing fellow role players. This was a blast. I had so much fun, especially because it's been a hot minute since I did tabletop. If you want to check me out, I'm at Twitter at acvalens, literally AC and then VALENS. And I tweet my articles there. I do a little bit of thirsty posting, hence partly why I was invited to this. And also the same username at .itch.io. I also create some not so PG-13 material there, so please only go if you are in the legal jurisdiction. But it's very queer, very thirsty, very les. And yeah, thank you for having me. This was amazing.
Yeah, and last but not least, our princess, Alexis.
Hi, I'm Alexis Sarah. Hi. And thank you so much for the amazing GMing, Jamie, and thank you so much to my fellow players. This was so much fun. I always love playing this game. Genuinely, not because I'm attached to the project and I made a setting and I made a playbook for the stretch goals. Like, it's genuinely my favorite game. I tweeted it before April asked me to be on the project when I was playing the playtest. So like, I super highly recommend it. I've been playing tons and tons of tabletop games and none have reached the bar of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. If you want to see my work, I make comics, podcasts, tabletop games, and more. You can go ahead to go to my card, which I'll get a link in the chat. But you can also go to @transcomics, and that'll just be my pin tweet. But if you're super curious, my main project right now is Super Streets, which you can find the podcast at Street Super on Twitter. I'm doing a podcast where I play Flora Farrell. I'm doing another actual play, and I am a thirsty sword lesbian there, but more angsty. Far less rich girl, way more angst. So yeah, so if you liked seeing me with a sword, you can do that. Again, I don't know if I've ever drawn a sword, but we mostly talk through our feelings in that podcast.
Same
anyway,
difference.
It's super fun.
Different kind of sword.
This is the first time I think I've won a fight while playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
No,
Usually it just
really?
becomes smooching, or I get impaled to a wall and get smitten with somebody. Like, these are all things that happen.
Same difference.
Yeah, I think the friendship whips took care of Spitfire this time. Perfect. But yeah, I also want to say that so there's still several days left for more streams, more games for charity. Once again, this is for charity code 2040. There's also a free Burn Bright adventure that's involved. Don't forget to check out game signups and schedule. There's going to be info down below in the chat. And yeah, I also want to stress that a VOD, video on demand, will be available on Roll20 YouTube for all of the games, including this one. So if you want to rewatch all the thirstiness, you can do that. I tend to like doing that. So
I want to see what people were saying in the chat while we were gaming, because I find it distracting, so I didn't do it live. But I also, the thing that I have heard about Burn Bright is that you can flirt with the spaceships. I do not know a ton about Burn Bright, but that is all I need to know to want to know more.
Yeah. We need to flirt with spaceships. So
I also want to see if we get like some fan art of this session. I could definitely see some like Sapphire with the friendship whip and Spitfire being friendship bondage.
So good.
In a very friendship situation.
It's all friendly here. PG-13 friendship whips.
That teeth tongue monster needs to show up somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's really...
I need someone to draw that.
I want to kiss the sexy shapeshifter, but also she was going to blow up, so I didn't really have a choice.
Unfortunately. Well, maybe she can join the resistance too. Hashtag welcome to the resistance.
It's true.
The resistance is basically our polycule. Yeah.
The resistance, aka the hot people I'm dating or dating the people I'm dating.
But we know those are the best resistances.
It's
absolutely. Isn't
Antifa
basically
the
just
point
a
of my
giant
setting?
Oh yeah, I want to stress that Nyan City 2099 is one of several amazing settings, one of which Alexis wrote, but they're all super, super good. And it also comes with some built-in adventure ideas. One of my favorites is the one of Gay Skull that's inspired by He-Man and She-Ra, but they're all super good. They're all fantastic. So once again, Thirsty Sword Lesbians is on Kickstarter. It really is, I I have to agree with Alexis. It's really one of the best games out there, period. It really, really shows it's super fun to pick up and play. It's really good for veterans and newbies alike to the hobby. Yeah, so that's Thirsty Sword Lesbians. That's Neon City 2099. I also want to stress that Eva Hat has lots of Roll20, Roll20, like, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's not like a mechanic-y stuff, Roll20
Like
stuff.
Add-ons, plugins,
There,
content.
yeah.
I don't know the
Hashtag
technical term.
content.
Yeah.
Hashtag content.
Modules.
There we go. Yeah, play modules. Perfect. For our secret voice who's been helping us in the background with all the strings. Thank you so much. But yeah, you can find all our Evil Hat play modules on Roll20. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a good day.
Thank you. Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye.